Here's what you need to know about climate finance and this year's UN Climate Summit, COP27. It's all about money, from public, private, or alternative sources to pay for things like adaptation, how we respond to the effects of climate change, and mitigation, what we can do to prevent further climate change.
We need both.
Without mitigation, disasters will be even bigger. Without adaptation, countries will not be able to cope with the impacts of the disasters and people will suffer even more.
It's not just countries paying for their own adaptation and mitigation, but also richer countries helping to pay for projects in less wealthy nations. In 2009, developed countries promised to channel $100 billion per year for climate action in developing countries, but so far, that goal hasn't been reached, and with the rising cost of climate disasters, some doubt whether it will be enough.
Even if we reach it, it's a drop in the ocean of demands for climate action. 100 billion out of a gap. The minimum estimate is north of $2.3 trillion.
Climate destruction is happening now, people are suffering now, which brings me to my fourth point, loss and damage. It's high time for a serious discussion and meaningful action on this issue.
Loss and damage is the idea that wealthy countries, who are the highest emitters of planet-warming gases, need to help poor countries, low emitters, pay for the harm they're already suffering at the hands of climate change. Take Pakistan, for example. In 2022, months of monsoon-fueled floods put 1/3 of the country underwater.
Billions of dollars in damages, lives lost, millions displaced. How do they recover from that? What mechanisms are in place for them to recover from that? A government cannot put contingencies in place to recover adequately from a disaster of that magnitude.
It's really important for us all to remember that no one country can find its way out of this crisis alone. It is a collaborative effort. We have to work in solidarity with all countries, and that means the wealthier have to support those with the fewer means to make the changes.